The gospel reveals the righteousness of God. Now, that's what we read on Monday's video. That's what we talked about, and how the just live by faith. The true experience of the abundant life that Jesus intends for us is realized in faith, in believing God, holding on to his word of truth, because he can't lie. Whatever he speaks is true. Holding that and keeping that elevated always, no matter what it seems like, what I feel like, how things look to me. I must start with the fact that what he says is true. Everything else must line up with that, not me try to line up the word with how I feel or how things seem or what my circumstances look like. This is vitally important. When I take this perspective, I can enter into an abundance of life that he has promised, and I will be victorious. He causes me to always triumph. This is really, really important, because when I'm languishing, it says I'm not living by faith, but I am believing something less than what he has declared. I'm not saying that that's easy, though. Sometimes it's really, really hard, because feelings and circumstances are powerful in our lives. Yet the greater power is the word of God. It's the declaration, what has been revealed, and his righteousness that comes unto us. The gospel reveals the righteousness of God. He knows, and he is the way. So in Romans chapter 3, as I promised, we were going to spend this week in some verses in Romans. We're going to go to Romans chapter 3. We're going to read verses 21 and 22. Now, what's important is there's a whole lot of verses that come before that. The two verses before that, 19 and 20, tell us the purpose of the law, which is to show and convict us of our guilt. That basically the law shows me that I fall short. Does not ever make it possible for me to achieve or attain unto righteousness through my works and keeping the law. It's not what it's for. It never was. Israel, given the law, could never become righteous and perfect through the keeping of the law, because we all fail. We have all failed. Paul says that in Romans also. So let's look at verses 21 and 22 of Romans chapter 3. And the Apostle Paul says, "But now the righteousness of God apart from the law is revealed." So righteousness is something that is not just some sort of a dream, something that we can't attain. It's actually available. It has been revealed. And we know what he said, the gospel reveals the righteousness of God. So it's in the good news. This is part of the good news. So what further does he say about righteousness then? It is witnessed by the law and the prophets. So the law and the prophets tell us that there is a standard of righteousness, and that also speaks of Jesus. Jesus said, all of this speaks of me, testifies of me. So it declares the righteousness of God, Jesus, to us. Verse 22 then. Even the righteousness of God through faith in Jesus Christ to all and on all who believe. So who experiences, who receives the righteousness of God? You do. When you believe and you trust and you have faith, you live by faith, you believe in him, you believe on Jesus Christ, who gives us that righteousness of God. He makes us sons and daughters of God. And notice something. We're going to see this elsewhere as we continue in this through the coming weeks. But God is righteous. We, as his children, have his nature. We are called to grow up in him in all things and in all ways, to be just like our Father. When Jesus said, when you see me, you've seen the Father, and he said, follow me, and to be like him, and the Apostle Paul says we're supposed to grow up into him, means that when somebody sees you, they see your Father. As we grow up, they more and more will see, the more he is manifested in our lives. So the righteousness of God is for all who believe. Meaning, God is declaring to us, to you, that you have been given through your faith and your trust in Jesus, not through your works, but you have been given through that faith, righteousness. You start from what he has given you, and you continue from there. And as we continue reading in Romans, next time we're going to see that this is our starting place. And we have to add one more component to that. When you realize the righteousness you've been given, the things of unrighteousness don't fit. And I want to embrace what he says, what he is given, not the contrary.